what is the latest from your end of things on what's going on with Durant, the Celtics, and anything else on that front, Brian?
Yeah, I know. Obviously, this comes out today from Woj, and so it's in front of everybody's mind. My feel is that those talks are not brand new, that the Celtics have been talking to the Nets all along. When they offered Jaylen Brown, I don't know when that was, but it wasn't yesterday or the day before. That offer's been there for a while. And the thing about it is, Rich, we're in this Durant situation is so different from all the star players who've asked for trades for the last decade because he's got 4 years on his contract. It's not like when Anthony Davis asked. It's not like when Kawhi Leonard asked. It's just different, and there's not a playbook for it. And so the Nets, because of that, are asking an obscene price. And so let's just go to our lives, whether we're ever in the bidding for something or we watch things. What happens when something is so expensive nobody wants to pay? You know, a Bugatti somebody found in a barn, or, you know, oceanfront real estate in Santa Monica, that the price is so high. One of two things happen. It either sits on the market and doesn't get sold, or the price drops. And if you don't want to pay the price and you're in the market for it, you wait for the price to drop. And that is exactly what's happening with Durant. There is something that is extremely valuable on the market, and nobody wants to pay the price for it. And so they are now waiting for it to drop, and the Nets are just waiting for someone to come up. And this is the stalemate for a highly valued NBA player.
Well, I totally get that, Brian. I totally understand. Why would the Celtics be willing to part with Jaylen Brown, do you think, on that front?
So this is a nuanced answer. Jaylen Brown has a contract that he's very likely not going to extend. He is, in the NBA, you can when you're in a contract and you want to extend your contract, as we just recently saw, for example, with Devin Booker and Karl Anthony Towns, you can only extend your contract a certain percentage. It's one of the arcane rules. And so even if Jaylen Brown was over the moon excited with the Celtics, even if they had gone 82-0 last year and he had averaged 50 points a game and shot 100% from the field, and he was telling people that he never wants to leave the city of Boston again in his life, he would not extend his contract because his contract that he's in right now limits how much he can extend for. So the Celtics, as they look long-term, are probably facing Jaylen Brown eventually becoming an unrestricted free agent on them in 2 years and them not having control over where he's going to go. It is on the grand scheme of problems confronting the Celtics, it's not sitting there on the front burner, but it is something that is an issue out there. By the way, this is exactly the core reason why the San Antonio Spurs traded DeJounte Murray. You may have said to yourself, my God, why would they trade an all-star in the middle of his contract who's in his prime? And that's the reason, is that they were afraid they couldn't keep him, and you trade him when his value is highest. So I don't think that the Celtics are sitting there scheming about where they can trade Jaylen Brown. Oh, my God, we got to trade him. I think they realize that there is a coming issue with his contract, and if you're ever going to trade him, why would you not trade him to get a player in Kevin Durant who could take you closer to a championship? I don't think they're making calls offering Jaylen Brown around, but when this offer presented itself, or this situation, I think they were remiss not to at least explore it. It doesn't mean they don't like him. Of course, I understand that will be the premise out there, that, once something like this gets out there, that it's like, oh my God, they want to get rid of him. They hate him. He's going to get rid of him in the next 5 minutes. He wants out of there. That's not necessarily true, but I realize that it's all buried in nuance, and it's not always going to get translated.